Good morning, I am Colin Emerson alongside Adam Frost, and today we are bringing you a great affair between Team Australia and Team Japan. Two teams headed in a little bit of different direction, but still can correct themselves in terms of Australia. So Japan is 3-0, Australia is 1-2 so far, and a lot to be handled here in terms of potential standings for the matchups for the third and fourth and first and second place. And with the log jams we see at the bottom end of the standings, a goal differential may come into play.
Yeah, and thank you, Colin, and good morning, everybody. Obviously, we've got a grudge match here between the top teams in the Asia-Oceania zone, and as Colin pointed out, perhaps a bigger game for Australia, who really needs the W if they're going to look to get into a medal game tomorrow. And, you know, Japan's cruising along at 3-0 and probably have already, if not officially, but close to secured themselves a spot in the gold medal game. So I'm sure they'll be looking to tune up for that and their match against Canada later on today.
They also have the best goal differential in the tournament, even edging out Canada, who's at 3-0. They have 4 more, I believe. But for Japan and Canada, two things I've noticed in the 3-0 teams, similarities is Canada and Japan both apply terrific pressure all over the court, and they also have great depth and seamless depth when they sub in players out.
Yeah, well, that is definitely one of the strengths of Japan, in my opinion, at this tournament, is the depth that they have. You know, they're able to put out Ike and Ikizaki, who are starting the game for themselves, but then they've got Shimakawa and Hasegawa coming off the bench, so they're sort of rotating those 4 players on different lineups with the combination of low pointers that they have, and it's tough to battle, and without Chris Bond here for Team Australia, that sort of hurts their depth a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to stay in the game with this Japanese group.
Ike using his big arms to win the tip-off. Hasegawa makes a nice pass to him, and Ikizaki is able to put that one home. So a good start for Team Japan right off the tip-off, and Australia looking to counter off the inbound. It'll be Howe, the birthday boy, sending it in, so he would like nothing better on his birthday gift than to get a 2-2 record for Australia and maybe a spot in the medal rounds as he lobs that one forward tightly to Bat, who's able to get away from Ike. Norimatsu in to help him out, trying to force him back, but using his wide power to scoot in. Now he's double teamed in the middle, but he also beats that. And he wasn't able to get over center in time, so that's a big play by the Japanese players, able to thwart him on a couple attempts. Even though he was able to get by, we're able to slow him down enough.
Yeah, that turnover was really created by a good transition by Japan there. They were able to get the matchups I think that they're probably looking for, and then once Australia was able to get the ball into Riley, they did a great job of pressuring him down low, and as we all saw, he ran out of time before crossing center.
Ikizaki able to finish at the business end, making it 2-0 for Japan. And now Warren trying to work his way out of the defensive zone and get over center this time. Fawcett's with him trying to help him out, but he's not over center yet. Now he is as Bat reels it down. Looking for a lane, just trying to weasel his way into the middle, but he's cut off again. He's going to need some help. Howe does so and giving him a pick. Spinning back and forth now, looking for options offensively, and he finds one on the wide side as he scores.
Good job by Riley to find a gap between the goal and the defender there, but good pressure by Japan on defense again. They're not making it easy for Australia to score.
Ikizaki trying to work away from Bat now, gets a little bit of a pick, he's able to get away. Now he throws one into long side, a little bit of a slow pass, but Norimatsu is able to reel it in as the pressure from Warren was getting to him.
Great job by Norimatsu to make sure he was open deep there.
And Howe looking for an outlet off the inbound. Gets it to Warren. He's already in traffic, so he gets a pick from Fawcett to try to help him out. Works on the wide side here as he's driving wide. Can't quite get away from Ikizaki. Now he's double teamed as Hasegawa in to help him out, and Bat has the ball. Riley Bat directing traffic as he's just over center, now driving wide again. Ike trying to stay with him as well as Norimatsu. Good pressure there. Forcing him wide, but he's able to use his power to beat the heat. Now he goes right to the middle. And again, we see that power and skill of Riley Bat on display there.
Yes, we do. Good job by him to get the goal. I think that Japan or Australia is feeling the defensive pressure, because on that particular possession there, they were all really down low, close to the ball, not spacing the way we like to see our team space when we're trying to break the press.
Yeah, you can tell the nerves are starting to get to them, and as we mentioned off the hop, Japan's really good at forcing that pressure all over, and it's been a key already in the first not even a couple minutes of this one.
And then, Japan quickly just turns around and scores in 5 seconds. Got to be a little demoralizing when it takes you almost your full 40 seconds to score every time, and your opponent's punching it in, no problem at all.
Warren trying to work his way out of the defensive zone, makes a nice scoop through all the traffic to Bat. Gets applause from his teammates for that one.
Yeah, nice pass by Warren and good positioning by Bat to be there to score that try.
Norimatsu off the inbound for Japan. Gets it to Ike. Those two operate slowly over center as now Australia collapses into their zone defense. Ike shimmying and shaking, gets swatted at by Bat and Warren. Bounces the ball. He's going to drive it himself here. I thought that Australia kind of seemed like they thought he was going to go wide, instead used the middle lane there.
Yeah, Warren backed up a bit there, anticipating the pass, and you really got to make sure they're passed. Otherwise, they're just going to wheel straight in.
Warren with a long looper to Bat. The conversion there for Australia. Japan now looking to inbound as the battle has started in the transition, but it's going to be Hasegawa for Team Japan. Looks for an option, finds a close one, and that's Ike. Lobs it ahead to Ikezaki. And just like that, as you mentioned, Adam, it's got to be a little demoralizing when Australia's had to work so hard, and it seems like Japan can just make a couple quick passes and score with ease.
Yeah, if Japan's going to use that defense where Riley and Warren are both down low, the two low pointers are going to have to get Ikezaki locked up, or they're going to exploit that all day long.
Warren working his way back down court, gets swatted at a couple times, and now rejected by Ike.
Yeah. Good job by Ikezaki to get those longs up in the air and stop that pass by Warren. However, it does go off of Ikezaki, so Australia will maintain possession here.
Yeah, so nice play by the Japanese, but it does result in still an Australian possession, but they have to work out of their own defensive end as Warren working back the other way. Pump fakes and goes with one arm. Bat was tied up, so that is going to be a turnover for Ikezaki. And he works it to Ike.
Yeah, it looked like Australia thought they had the deep pass to Bat. However, Ikezaki did have wheel position there, was able to get to the ball first.
And those two work a terrific give and go there, a great play. As Warren working back from his defensive posture. Driving wide. Gets it to Bat, who's going to be cut off here. Has to slow up. Bat now working wide, faking, trying to find a middle lane. Fawcett in to help him out. Now driving all the way to the wide side and gets his way in there. So a nice conversion by Team Australia. The gap is at 2-7-5 for Team Japan with 4:42 to go in the opening quarter. Ikezaki to Ike. And just like that, as we mentioned, the ease that those two have coming down the court.
Yeah, these guys have been gelling together for a few years now, and so far in this game looking unstoppable.
Yes, I always say that's the mark of any good athlete in sport. They make it look so easy, but it's really not. It's just their terrific talent and chemistry. As Warren working back in his defensive posture. He's able to get a pick from Howe and then Bat, which frees him up a bit. Driving wide, doesn't have much speed, has to bounce the ball. Almost forced out of bounds. What's going to happen here is he's double teamed as he finds Bat. Team Japan really wanting to amp up the pressure from the bench as Bat spins back offensively. Now a long lob to Warren. Good pass. Trying to weasel his way to the end zone, but he can't do so just yet. He's forced to bounce the ball. Now he's getting the countdown from the clock from his bench. Might be in a little bit of trouble here. Lobs it over to Bat in triple coverage. He's able to reel it down. One more pass that doesn't work.
Yeah, great defense there by Team Japan. And you can tell that Australia is a little bit rattled by this, because I think that, he probably would have liked to see them use a timeout in that situation. There was lots of communication coming from the bench that they were low on time and just not thinking things through clearly at this moment.
And you see almost instantly Bat just blamed himself for that one, maybe making that extra pass instead of just trying to drive it through with the limited time left. And Hashimoto now into the game for Team Japan. Makes a long lob to Shimikawa. Able to convert there, so...
Yeah, Hashimoto and Shimikawa pick up right where Ikazaki and Ike left off, scoring quickly.
And it's Harrison now working out of the defensive zone for Team Australia to Edmondson. Is able to capture it in. Australia, as both teams have made subs here. Now a long lob does get to Bat. It looked like Imei was in the vicinity, but didn't kind of see the pass coming.
Yeah, I thought that Imai would have been right in position to intercept that ball, but I think his attention was at somewhere else, and he picked it up a little bit too late.
Imei now inbound, fielded down, trying to long lob in triple coverage. Good job by Australia here, but he's able to get it to Shimikawa. He's got Imei down court, decides not to give it to him and take it himself. Takes some hard contact there by Edmondson and goes down. And a big hit there, but he looks none the worse for wear and actually kind of enjoyed it.
Well, I guess if you don't like the contact, you don't really want to get into this sport. But, when you've got your arms over your head calling a timeout and you get clipped in the back, that's going to make coming down to the ground just a little bit easier, I suppose.
As we see Shimikawa get hit here, gets it right on the side, and as he goes down, takes it on the shoulder and lets out a large woo that you could hear from the court. So it's a nice way to wake up to the game for him and get involved as he has the ball now. Shimikawa just waiting and waiting for the inbound. Now he takes it in ultimately. So Japan up by 4, 10-6 here, 3:06 to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, Australia is definitely going to have to find their groove on offense. They're going to get back into this game and find a way to slow down this.
Adam Harrison's pad is rejected away, but Edmondson able to pick it up and finally get it to Bat. So almost another turnover. Now a long scoop at Edmondson. He's in a bit of trouble, but fields it down. And now Bat gets it just inside the key. Has a gleam in his eye, but is able to be shut down there. Now bounces the ball back. Wide side, and he gets it.
Nice job by Australia there to seal off pretty much half of the key for Bat to be able to wheel around and score.
May off the inbound to Shimikawa. Shimikawa takes a bit of time before one scooping it over to Hashimoto, who converts.
Barely have time to talk when Japan has possession of the ball.
Quick transition, that is for sure. Edmondson being forced back, working out of his defensive end, now gets it to Bat. A nice pick by Fawcett helps him out. Now it's a 3-on-1 on the offensive end as Bat drives wide on Hashimoto and just takes it himself. Straight off the inbound. To May. Hashimoto. Spinning, getting the wide side as he beats Fawcett. Great play there. Oh, and an interception is Bat read that pass well, got in between and is able to convert. So let's see if Australia can build off that.
Yeah, Hashimoto probably didn't need to make that pass. He probably could have just pushed the over center. However, nice job by Bat to anticipate that and jump into the passing lane.
As we see here, Hashimoto, a few shimmies and shakes, throws it. Good anticipation as he had two guys there, but Bat was wheeling forward in the lane and able to pick it off.
And Australia getting that much needed turnover to try to get themselves back into this game.
Now Bat aggressively pursuing his man, that Shimikawa in the zone, who spins off him and is able to get it over center to Hashimoto. So nice play there, but they are in a bit of trouble as they're running a bit low on time and double team there as Hashimoto. One scoops it over, a weak pass. Oh, it almost rejected again, but then picked up by Imei. And we've got a mad scramble here as it's left off for Hashimoto. One more pass to Shimikawa, getting a countdown. He's going to have to make it soon. Cuts wide side and is just able to convert in time.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a lucky bounce there for Japan for them to retain possession of the ball, but ultimately are able to score the try.
A couple almost turnovers. Now a long lob ahead by Bat to Edmondson, who wheels on that, but he's not going to have an easy job as Hashimoto looking to cut him off, but he can't quite do it. Imei off the inbound for Team Japan. Shimikawa. Australia collapsing in that zone defense on Australia coming out 4 wide here. Shimikawa waiting for his men to provide some picks. Harrison out to meet him. Shimikawa does find a lane there, but Bat making his life difficult, and now rejects it out of his hands, but that's off Bat, so I think it's going to be a Japanese ball on the sides here, but let's see what they call.
Yeah, quick hands by Riley there to almost create a turnover. However, Japan will maintain possession with 16 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Shimikawa did have a lane. Bat read it really well and forced that extra aggression, forcing him out, and once he turned to the side, he used his hands to free up the ball. Ikizaki now, working his way into the middle. Harrison trying to stop him. One over the top, and they are able to convert.
Kabatani coming into the game and getting his name on the score sheet immediately.
Now Riley Bat working his way out hard. He gets it to Harrison, who fields it in and protects the ball away from 2 Japanese checkers. What do we have here, Adam?
Equipment timeout by Bat. So Australia will maintain possession, and Japanese is half, and they'll have 28 seconds to try to score the last goal of the quarter here if they choose to.
Has been a really entertaining first quarter so far. A lot of transition and aggressive play on both sides. So the fans here at the Richmond Olympic Oval and you at home are being treated to a very good morning affair.
Well, I mean, obviously the first part of this quarter, Japan sort of asserted their dominance over Australia, but the last 4 minutes here have been pretty exciting, and Australia slowly creeping their way back into this game.
And Riley Bat looking to convert one more near the end as there's 15 seconds to go. A long lob and one more from Edmondson to Harrison, counting down as much time as they can, and they do convert with 7.7 to go. Kabatani looking for something, but Japan may just play this safe. Let's see what they do as Ikizaki, a nice spin-off bat. Wow, that was terrific there. And we have a violation.
So Japan, it looked like a spin call against Edmondson. So Japan will be inbounding the ball with 2.4 seconds to go in this quarter, close to the Australian goal.
Could be costly. We'll see if they were able to convert.
Yeah, I don't think Japan was going to get there. So
yeah,
obviously had my vision up the other end of the court looking at the ball, so I didn't quite see the foul. But a little bit needless, perhaps.
Ike to Ikizaki, and they make it work just like that with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. So we'll see how costly that may or may not have been, as Australia was kind of coming on in the end there.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, terrific affair, and Australia definitely looking like they improved as the quarter went on, so they'll look to continue that trajectory going forward here. And while we have time, Adam, I do want to thank some of our sponsors and volunteers that have made this terrific event possible. And we're starting with the Government of Canada, the Government of BC, Richmond Sport hosting, of course, this great event, the Richmond Olympic Oval, Vesco Wheelchairs, Moulton, the local 258 of IBEW, and a few hotels at the Sheraton Vancouver Airport, Hilton Vancouver Airport, Marriott Vancouver Airport, as well as World Wheelchair Rugby Canada, and BC Wheelchair Sports, as well as all the volunteers and staff that make this great event possible. So, Adam, what do we expect from the second quarter? Are you expecting much more of the same or different adjustments? As we saw from Australia, was it just a fact of them kind of getting to their game or cleaning up their act, or did you notice something specific in their play that allowed them to kind of inch their way back?
Well, excuse me. Obviously we saw at the beginning of that game, Australia's offense looked a little bit disjointed. I think based on the pressure we saw from the Japanese defense. So Australia is going to have to look to get an offensive transition to allow them to run the plays that they're looking to run, and they're going to have to find a way to stop Japan's quick attack on offense You know, if it keeps taking you 30 seconds to score every time, and then they turn around and Japan's punching the ball in 5 seconds, that's going to wear on you over the course of a game, and it's going to make it tough to hang around. So.
Yes, for sure. And do you look at any specific individuals from Team Australia to help on the offense, or is it just the whole team structure?
Yeah, it's the whole team structure. I think that we saw, I don't want to say poor decisions, but decisions that could have been better by a lot of the athletes from Australia on the court. So we'll see if they're able to get a little bit more focused here in the second half and towards the end of that first quarter like we saw.
And now Riley Batt on the offensive end for Australia. Slowly weaving his way over center and just into the three-point line now. Now sees a lane and is able to get it. So you can kind of see Batt on both ends, whether it's offense or defense. When he realizes he has a great opportunity, turns up that aggressive notion.
And then Japan scores in 1 second.
Yeah, exactly. And then Ikizaki is the recipient of a great pass and converts. Shea Graham also into the game now, and she'll inbound the ball here. Gets it to Edmondson. Protects the ball. Now gives a pick to Edmondson, but they don't have much motion going forward. Now they do as they drive wide and into the middle. Graham's open, and she'll get the ball now. Is a great pass there, and that's terrific execution on the offensive end by the Australians.
Yeah, nice poise there by Edmondson, sort of waiting for something to open up, and good job by Graham to leak out and be an auction, score the first try, her first try of the game.
Ogawa now into the game for Team Japan. Is able to inbound it, and Ike gets it to Ikizaki. And ahead there in May, fields that ball in with two hands and converts. And now Graham back to inbound the ball for the Australians as they're down by 3, 16-13, 7:06 to go. 54 seconds elapsed in the second quarter as Batt really picks up his speed. And Ikizaki trying to get to him but won't be able to. And as I mentioned, he just kind of turns up the heat when he notices those opportunities on either end and just kind of turbocharges it.
Such a tough person to stop when he's got the ball.
Japan makes an inbound into double coverage. Thank you that Ike had those wide arms to field that one down. Now gets it to Ikizaki, who spins away from Batt. Edmondson trying to help him out, slows him down to allow Batt to get an angle. And a nice pass by Ikizaki to Ime to Ike. 1, 2, 3, just like that, Japan converts.
Good team possession there by Japan to score that try. Ikizaki almost got himself into a little bit trouble around the center line, but is able to maintain control of his chair and make the pass to Imai.
Edmondson now fields one down. Ogawa out to meet him. Drops it off to Batt in behind. Trying to find the wide lane. Didn't look like he had it, but now he does and converts there. And an inbound for Team Japan here as they may back with it. Looking for an option as they're already battling for position down court. Again, they're able to find that in coverage pass to Ike, who with those big arms, who gets it to Ikizaki. He's got a man wide there. Doesn't use him now, just fights off his original check and takes it himself.
He's always been so good at getting through it, double teams.
And now Graham on the inbound. A little bit of a dangerous pass, but Batt able to field it down, and now off a nice pick from Edmondson, has a lot of room. And May trying to get with him, and he kind of resigned to the fact that he wouldn't be able to check him there.
Nice job by Batt to get open. Team Japan had a nice defensive look on him, but ultimately unable to stop him getting the ball.
Ike to Ikizaki, directing traffic as Australia collapses back. Sees a lane but can't quite get to him. Gets a pick from Ogawa, but forced to the other side where Graham meets him. Ikizaki, wow, that was some determination there through a few checks to convert at the goal line.
Yeah, that was a little bit harder for Ikizaki than I think he would have liked. Ogawa had the right idea trying to seal off Batt there, but just wasn't quite able to get the wheel position they were looking for to score on the first attack.
And Edmondson trying to get away. Now he's double teamed by Ogawa and Ikizaki. Batt in to help him out through the middle, and he receives that pass perfectly. So a good job by Edmondson to draw two checks in and then loop it through the middle to Batt.
Yeah, nice heads-up play by him.
And Ogawa off the inbound. Gets it to Ike. Oh, lob ahead, and Ikizaki, that's the first time we've seen a miscue by those two. Usually the chemistry is seamless, but Bat picks it off, and that's a turnover. Wheels by 3 checks. No, he doesn't. They were able to thwart him, and Bat goes down, so a turnover. But atoning for they're somewhat able to take Bat down and not give him the easy lane through to the offensive end.
Yeah, so first off on the turnover by Team Japan there, I thought that deep pass was definitely open, but a misread between Ike and Ikezaki there, and then I think that they awarded the timeout to Australia as he was going down. However, Riley was kind of up in the air and then sort of gets nudged from behind by Daisuke, and we saw that as a technical foul in one of the games yesterday. So, and the timeout and the technical foul sign are the same, so we're just waiting to see what the call was.
It's kind of hard when you're in the midst of falling to A, make the sign, or B, know if it's legal.
Yeah.
And I'm already surprised that there's not more shoulder injuries when those guys go down. So Bat to Edmondson, reaches deep, but fields it down and backs in for the score. Yeah, Adam, I am really surprised that there isn't more shoulder injuries if you watch the way the guys go down and at the force in which they do.
We're lucky in the fact that although the game looks tough and you can get injured from time to time, you don't get injured very often falling out of your chair. I think more wear and tear on the body and overuse injuries than impact injuries, luckily. So
that is good. Shimakawa converts on the business end for Team Japan, so it's a 2-point game now, 18 for Team Japan. As Bat working his way out of the defensive zone, really galloping forward here, except that some contact from Hashimoto, gets it to Edmondson and back to Bat. He's got a straight lane, takes some contact, but does convert.
Glad to see that Australia's kind of found their groove here. You know, they've clawed their way back, and we've got a 1-goal game. Looked early like it was going to be lopsided.
It did, and then they really started coming on in the second half of the first quarter, and they've really, made it to that point of keeping that consistent game so far. As Hashimoto, a nice pass to Shimakawa, converts there, and they were just at the goal line as he had to reach pretty far forward for that.
Nice hands and chair control there by Shimakawa to ensure that he secures that ball before he crosses the try line.
Bat gives a nod and goes down the middle to Graham. She's going to have some contact here as Hashimoto there, Shimakawa as well, but a couple nice passes by the Australians. And you mentioned they're really starting to find their chemistry, their rhythm in the game here. 4 minutes to go, and it's now a 1-score game, but a Japanese possession here.
Definitely a good shift so far for this Australian lineup.
Shimakawa to Hashimoto. Graham thought she may have a lane on him, but eased off near the end. And now Graham will inbound the ball for the Australians. Gets it to Edmondson. Spins back. Goes with a short pass to Bat. Now picks for him so he can have a wide route. He's shut off but drives through. And Ozan helping him out with a pick there. Shimming shaking through some Japanese checks and ultimately finds a route to the goal line. Hashimoto off the inbound, a short one to Ogawa, and back to him. Takes some heavy contact from Graham, but he maintains the ball and is able to break the heat of Edmondson. So here he is. That's Hashimoto, able to just ease through and convert.
Nice job by him to get through the defensive pressure of Australia and create that 2-on-1, him and Shimakawa.
Looks like we may have a substitutions and a timeout here. As let's see who we have coming into the game. It looks like Graham may be coming out, Nicholson may be coming in, but I'm not sure of further substitutions.
Certainly how it looks from here. Coach Stuberly using his timeout to talk tactics with this new line. But great job by Graham as she
was really good. Yeah,
made some great plays out there for her team, and it's great to have options if you're the coach of the Australian team. Nicholson looks like he's tied up already.
Yeah, now he's already in the battle. Not even a second onto the actual time clock. Trying to fight away from 2 Japanese checkers, but that leaves Bat wide open. Takes some heavy contact from Shimakawa, who actually popped up off that check, and Bat does score.
Nice inbound by Edmondson there to hit Bat over top of all the Japanese defenders.
Ogawa lobs one into Shimakawa. directing traffic. And Australia does collapse into that zone defense. It's Shimakawa still. Nicholson out to meet him. But he spins to the wide side, trying to get through Bat. Locked up with him and Edmondson. Shimakawa waiting for a pick. Now he gets one trying to drive wide. There's 3 Australians there to prevent him from scoring, but they almost get in each other's way off the pick and allow Shimakawa to score.
Yeah, that all pump fake by Shimakawa sort of tricked all the Australian defenders into thinking the ball was going the opposite direction, and big hole opened up.
And a good 3-way passing play down the court by the Australians allows Bat with the offensive possession, which he does convert on. So with 2:36 to go, we're at another one-score game. It's 24-23.
Australia is definitely scoring a little bit easier here in the second quarter than it seemed like they did in the first quarter.
And of course, this game standing-wise is a lot bigger for them than the Japanese team, and they've really played like it here as Edmondson looking to throw at his man. Shimakawa does get the ball. Slows up, waiting for some options here. Spinning and spinning again. Nicholson doing a good job to meet him. Staying with him now. But he gets a nice pick, and his Shimakawa is able to have a lane. One more over the top to Hashimoto, who takes a little bit of contact before almost ultimately converting. Now Bat working out of his end zone. He's in some traffic, but what a great lob pass. It's a little bit slow, but still Edmondson's able to convert, and Ogawa can't quite catch up to him.
When it takes your 2 high point players to stop one high point player on the other team, there's bound to be some people open deep, and there was there.
And when you see that last checker on the defense allow the offensive player to kind of get there, is it more that they're resigned to them scoring, or that they just want to be in the right positions in the transition play?
I'm sure it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. But it's always about transition, right? You're always looking to the next play, particularly once you know that you're not going to be able to stop them.
And we've got something here, Adam. I'm not sure what it was.
It looks like number 23 from Team Japan. Ogawa was across the goal line before the ball, so that should be a turnover. And oh no, 21's heading to the box. So obviously, what I saw, maybe it was 4 in the key. I don't know.
Shimakawa had the ball and then looked like he had a lane, but they blow the whistle right about here.
Yeah, tough to tell from the replay. But the Japanese player's out of bounds, but perhaps, yeah, I didn't see what happened. Maybe 4 in the key. It was hard to tell from the replay.
It is still a Japanese inbound. Norimatsu, Ikezaki to Ike. Scoops it down now. He's going to wait. Not that long, though. He does convert. So it's 1:31 to go in the second quarter. Japan up by 2. Australia in possession here as they're waiting for their inbounder. It'll be Nicholson. Slow pass, a short scooper to Bat, who gathers some speed but runs into some opposition there. A great looper to Edmondson. He's got Nicholson coming down wide court with speed. Wanted to give it to him, instead goes short to Bat, who now goes to Nicholson. Fields it down, and that's a turnover. Team Japan able to reach in on Nicholson and take it. And now Team Japan calls the timeout.
Yeah, Riley forced to get rid of that ball really quickly because he was about to take it over and back. And just landed in the lap of Norimatsu rather than Nicholson. And good job by the Japanese team to use the timeout to make sure they maintain possession and try to give themselves a 3-point try lead here with 1 minute to go in the half.
Yeah, you can tell they wanted the long pass to Nicholson, as in they were in a precarious position but had to go back to Bat, and that's what resulted in the turnover. Now Japan, it's Ikezaki. He's just waiting for as long as he can before ultimately converting on the turnover, so that could be costly for the Australians here at the end of the second quarter. It sounded like some error left a tire on the court.
Equipment timeout for Ike, number 21 from Team Japan.
Yes, I thought I heard the air leave the tire, and indeed it probably did, as he's getting a tire replaced.
I was a little surprised to see him call timeout. It looked like Australia was in a little bit of trouble there, and I would have, liked to see him just wait to see if they got the ball over half at least before he used the equipment timeout.
Oh, so you don't have to use it exactly as it happens.
Yeah, you don't have to call it. And the refs don't even have to grant it if they don't want to.
Bat with terrific offensive speed, shimmying and shaking through a few checks and almost angrily puts that one in with 40.3 to go in the second quarter. Japan in possession and up by 2. As it's Norimatsu waiting for an inbound, directing traffic here. Hasegawa out there now as well for Team Japan. But it's Ikizaki with the ball. Norimatsu giving him a pick on Bat. He's going to need some help here as Bat converging on him. Oh, and Bat's the one who goes down. So Japan with a manpower advantage as they work up court on offense. They blow it down now.
Yeah, as soon as Ikizaki stopped trying to score, they're going to blow the whistle and allow Bat to get back up in his chair. If Ikizaki kept moving towards the Australian goal, then they probably wouldn't have done that. But we knew Australia was going to start stalling here, or excuse me, Japan was going to start stalling here. It's most likely they're going to attempt to score the last goal of this half.
And Norimatsu gets it into Ike. He's got Ikizaki in the middle, gives him a slow bouncer, 19 left. He's going to try to eat as much clock as he can here. Gets it to Ike, those long arms. 10 seconds to go here. They're going to try to waste as much time. That one-arm scoop that he's known for gets it to Ikizaki. He's getting the countdown, and now he's forced over by Bat ultimately, but does score with 2.3 on the clock.
Yeah, good job by Japan to score with only 2 seconds left in the half. Australia is one of the hardest teams to execute last goal against because Bat's so fast that if you leave them any time at all on the clock, and he can punish you.
And perhaps the half coming at a good time for Australia. As we mentioned, their game started to pick up in the latter half of the first quarter and into that second quarter for sure. They closed the gap to 1, but then a costly turnover led Team Japan. And it looked like Australia was pretty frustrated after that latest turnover. So what do they have to do to kind of reset that mental mindset and realize that they had played pretty well, they'd done a lot of good things, and not to let that 1 or 2 errors kind of dictate the way they approach the game the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think they just need to keep doing what they were doing, particularly in the second quarter there, right? They were, I don't want to say that they were, Japan was still scoring quickly, but obviously turned the ball over a few times, and, it's going to be Japanese ball to start the third quarter here, so that will give Team Japan to extend the lead to 4. However, Team Australia just needs to keep doing what they're doing, try and create that first turnover, see if they can gain a little momentum.
And for Australia, I mean, their record isn't what they're used to or want it to be, but I mean, like, with Team Japan here, one of the, obviously, the better teams we've seen, and they're really holding with them. They've had some different players come in. Graham comes to mind as someone that had come in and played really well, so I think there is some solace in the fact, and I know it's not over and just through the first half, but the way they've rebounded here and competed against one of the best.
Well, absolutely. This is sort of the beginning of the run to Worlds in October, and, we all know that Australia's here without their full squad, and, so you can take a lot of positives to be this close without perhaps your strongest lineup with all of these teams. I mean, that's, and it's opportunity for others to be prepared. So when, Australia does go to Worlds, and they're going to run all of these lineups, and that's just going to bode well for them to ultimately, I'm sure they'll think they'll have a shot at gold, and,
Exactly. It's that seamless transition that you're able to get, and other players kind of understanding that they can succeed in these moments, and that bodes well for the future for sure. So we'll take a moment to shout out some sponsors here that have made this great event possible. First of all, BC Wheelchair Sports, the Government of Canada and British Columbia, Moulton, IBEW, Richmond Sport Hosting, the Sheraton Marriott, and the Sheraton Airport Vancouver, and their beautiful Richmond Olympic Oval, which have all done a great job, as well as the volunteers and everyone, all the staff who puts this great event together. As we're about 2 minutes away from getting to the second half of this one, as both teams are discussing some strategy and things, and looking to move forward in this one, as I expect to see Riley Bat not leave the court unless it does get out of hand, so he's one player that will probably stay on.
Yeah, trying to remember if he's actually been on the bench at all.
I don't think so in this game.
Not
no.
on the ones that not in this game and not in the games that I've watched.
I think maybe he took a little bit of a reprieve in the Canada game, but I could be wrong. I think he was off for a few minutes, but like I said, I could be wrong.
That was yesterday. Who can remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
I don't
maybe-
even remember what just happened.
Yeah.
As we're getting some good replays here for the fans at home, and we get the look of Ikizaki there, Riley Batts, some of the more offensively proficient players in this game. And the teams do also have a few timeouts, I think, so those will become more prevalent as this game winds to a halt here in the second half.
Well, if the scoreboard's accurate, and why wouldn't it be? Each team has only used one timeout. So, and there was certainly opportunities for particularly Australia to use some timeouts. I know it's that last turnover we saw by Bat on the center line there.
And then we see Shimikawa on the replay use one as he's going down.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, they are big in both of the other games I've done. The losing team had used all their timeouts within the second quarter, and that does play a huge factor in terms of the score and how you approach things, not having those in your back pocket.
You know, you come into the game and you know that you're going to have your timeouts and they're going to have their timeouts, and you want to try to force the other team to use theirs as quickly as possible, and you think that that's going to create a big advantage for you. But more often than not, at least at this level, I find that, you know, a team using their timeouts sort of allows them to keep the game close, and then they kind of settle in, and then, you know, not having those timeouts doesn't become as big of a factor because they're grooving offensively.
Yeah, no, exactly. It can play in a multitude of ways as we're ready to get underway for the second half. It's Norimatsu to Ikizaki. He does score quickly there.
Yeah, Team Australia got a little bit too focused on trying to deny the inbound, and Ikizaki was able to sneak behind everybody and be wide open, score the first try of the second half.
Harrison with a risky pass there to Bat, who does field it down now, that gets it to Edmonton and over to Harrison. Wheeling his way down the wide side of the court now. Contacts his man Ikizaki heavily, who does stay in his chair, and now Bat has the ball.
Great job by Edmondson to get rid of that ball on the half line, because that was awfully close to a backcourt violation.
Bat's route thwarted in the middle. Now he's going to try to take it wide, and we've got a call here. Is it a timeout? Or?
Yeah, Edmondson had to call a timeout. He was in the key early and was getting knocked out of bounds by number 7, Ikizaki. Nice job by him to maintain possession, and Australia will have 17 seconds to try to make this a 3-try game.
Harrison on the inbound. So this is a big play for Team Australia, or it could turn out to be. On the inbound, we'll long scoop over to Bat, who now has possession just outside the key. Norimatsu out to meet him in. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Is Bat winding his way down wide? Gets a beautiful pick there from Edmondson and uses it to convert.
Yeah, nice job by Bat there to identify that corner was going to open up, and nice job by Edmondson to seal it off for him.
Ike using the one scooper to Ikizaki. Bat out there to meet him, but he spins off him. Bat trying to stay with him, gives him another little hit, and Hasegawa is able to help out enough with a pick to allow Ikizaki to score.
Yeah, nice job by Hasegawa to force Riley underneath him, and which allowed Ikizaki to obviously score the try.
Bat now trying to work away from 2 Japanese checkers. He's able to do so as he gets a nice pick again from Edmondson, this time in the defensive end, and it's a 2-on-1 on the offensive zone. He switches through with Harrison and converts there. 1 minute, 6 seconds into the third quarter, and we have a 3-score game now with Japan in possession, up 30-27. Ikizaki working under the defensive end. Norimatsu gives him a nice pick. He doesn't have much motion, but gets it to Ike, and he'll have all day with this one. Now just waiting a little bit in transition for his mates to get in position before he ultimately does convert. Harrison on the inbound for the Australians. Gets it to Bat. Winds his way around the wide side. Ikizaki trying to stay with him as they both wheel hard over center, but Bat's got a lane, and he's got another pick from Edmondson, so those two are working well together on the offense. Now Harrison, the recipient end of the business play there.
Nice job by Bat. He never takes a shift off.
No, he doesn't. Japan's so confident on those inbounds, getting it to Ike with the big arms that he can field it down, and so far he has. Bounces it, now gets it to Ikazaki, who converts.
It's so difficult to stop Japan from getting the ball in because you've got to really transition Ike early because he's so tall. And then if you're able to get that, stopping Ikazaki becomes equally as difficult.
Yeah, pick your poison.
Yeah.
So it's Bat now on the offensive end for the Australians, wheeling his way through a lot of traffic. A great play by Harrison to lean back, catch it with his shoulder, and reel it in.
Yeah, a really nice job by him.
And it's Norimatsu to Ike. Ike with a good burst of speed there. Now gets a great pick from from Hasegawa, who is able to help him convert there on the business end. Harrison now backs his way out, opening for a lane. Instead goes behind to Bat, who's in a little bit of trouble. And now that pass, not a very good one. But lucky that Norimatsu wasn't quite expecting it, and it's off him, as it looked like a pretty easy turnover, which he wasn't expecting. He only kind of found out about it because his bench was yelling at him.
Nice job by Hasegawa there to tie up the Class 2, and whenever your .5 can eliminate a Class 2 like that, it's a big advantage for your defense.
So Australia gets the benefit of the doubt there, as that could have been a very costly turnover, but Australia with the offensive zone possession here, and Bat with the ball.
I think Coach Orr is going to have to help his team get eyes in the back of their head so they can make those catches like we just.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more, and how good the players are with their peripheral vision, but Australia definitely could be fortunate as Harrison to Bat. He's got two guys on him, but scoops it ahead to Edmondson. Fights off a couple checks as he's reeling in. He was reached in on, but not going to matter as he's able to convert.
Yeah, good job by Edmondson to protect that ball from the reach of Ikazaki.
False start here as Norimatsu going to Ike in the double coverage. Does he do it now? Even though they know it's coming, still do it. Fielding it down, one across to Ikazaki. Norimatsu out with him as Hasegawa's got his man pinned down court, and Ikazaki will take that one in.
Yeah, you can't stop the ball coming in unless it's a missed pass there by Seiya, because Ike is just so much taller than the two Class 2s.
So is it almost worth it not to double team him because you know he's going to get it anyways? Just have one guy lock him up and the other guy in a different position down court maybe?
Well, I mean, you've got the choice by playing sort of in front to back like Australia was on that possession and to try to see if you can at least make chair contact as the ball is in the air to knock him off balance, or you can just position yourself in between him and your goal and concede that you're not going to stop the ball from coming in and then just defend him after he does. You know, the issue is, because of the classification, neither one of those Class 2s is going to be able to stop Ike by themselves, so you have to almost have two players there. How you do it, I guess they'll keep trying to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a never-ending problem, it seems, as Ikazaki wheeling back on the offensive end for Japan. Just taking his time and biding his time as the players are locked up in transition. And biding his time indeed before he does convert. So 4:30 to go in the third quarter. 4:32, to go in the third quarter. Japan leading by 4. Harrison to Bat. Getting away from two checks, but the contact forces him to go to the other side. He does. He gets over center. Ikazaki on him. Now Norimatsu, and a nice pick again by Edmondson is really helping Bat out, especially in this quarter, I've noticed, with his terrific picks. As Bat works his way inside the key now. Great move to the wide side. Good job by Fawcett there to tie Norimatsu up, allowing Bat to take that conversion. And a long lob ahead here is Ikazaki and converts, and that was so easy. But I didn't see what happened in the backcourt as we have one Australian player down.
Well,
here.
the .5 there, Hasegawa, certainly made contact with Bat, and I didn't see if Bat where he made contact, but obviously Riley is lying on his back.
We'll get a look here. Bat has the ball. Or maybe this was the scoring play.
This is the goal.
Yeah.
Up on one wheel, just to be sure.
And it's Edmondson back the other way. In double coverage, in a little bit of trouble. He needs some serious help here. He's getting it in bat, but doesn't have much forward
4
motion,
seconds
and
to
he's
go.
forced to use the timeout.
Nice defensive pressure by Team Japan there to force Australia to use their third team timeout.
And that is exactly why we've said, like, as you get into the depths of this game, why it's important to have those timeouts. That could have really hurt if they didn't have one left, because it looked like they were in trouble right from the start. So.
Yeah.
In possession of the ball once again, it's Edmonton. Short pass to Bat. Spinning and spinning to find a lane. Avoiding 2 Japanese checks. And now puts one through to Edmondson, who fields it down. And Ozan doing a good job of allowing him to get that.
Yeah, good job by Australia to reset after that timeout and score the try.
Ike to Ikezaki working their way out. Norimatsu and Ozagawa out there as well. Or Hasegawa, excuse me, as Ike able to put that one in. And Japan now has expanded their lead to 4. 37-33 with 3:30 to go in the third quarter. A lot of threes there.
Yeah, this has been a pretty even quarter so far. I think that Japan scored first to extend their lead to 4, and halfway through the quarter, we're still at that margin. So teams trading goals.
Shea Graham, the recipient of a great pass, she reaches back with one arm to scoop it in and score. So she did well the first time she came onto the court, and takes up right where she left off.
Yeah, nice job by her to control the ball there. I thought perhaps she was going to wheel by it, but that outstretched arm reeled it in.
Ike using his power, now he's using his vision as he finds Ikezaki. And Graham off the inbound to Edmondson. Pump fakes and now goes to Bat in coverage, but he fields it down. Getting away from Ikezaki, not easily done as he was staying with him, but Bat with a couple shifty moves, able to take it himself, and he's going to convert here. So a 3-score game with Japan in possession of the ball. 1 player's timeout for Australia, 3 left for Japan, so that could become a factor as this game also wears on. And Ikezaki to Ike, open in the midcourt, and he's going to take that one home himself. Maybe take a little bit of time as he does to get transition set up going the other way.
Yeah, a little bit of patience by Ike there to allow his teammates to look for defensive matchups before they attempt to score the try.
Graham to Edmondson. Anticipated and contacted hard, but gets it to Bat. He's got his head down, wheeling, searching for a lane. He's got Graham on the wide side, but decides to slowly take it himself and just gain that center line. He's got it now. It's rejected out of his hands. Can he recover possession? Yes, he can. Waiting to get over his center. Now they might be in trouble. Edmondson doing a great job of fielding that one down. Japan turning up the heat, rejected away again. Is it a turnover? Yes, it is. And Ikezaki to Ike. Wow, Team Japan was really hungry on that and wouldn't be denied. Now they have the ball on the offensive end. It's Ike. Ikezaki, great job to field that one in. And what a sequence for Team Japan there. And again, they're being patient before converting, allowing the defensive posture to be tied up.
Yeah, Riley just lost control of that ball there on the center line. I thought perhaps that was going to be an over and back before
Me
when
too.
he picked it up. And then Edmondson here has the ball checked off his lap.
Because Bat did ultimately get it back after that first turnover, and then it was the second one that resulted in the actual full-on turnover.
Yeah, well, when he lost control at center, it must have bounced off one of the Japanese players, which is why he was able to pick it up when it bounced into his backcourt. But
And it's Bat trying to reassert things for Team Australia, who've come undone a little bit here in recent minutes. Trying to charge through, not able to do so, backs out. As everyone's got their eyes swiveled on, checks, Bat takes his way out as he's got 13 seconds to try to convert. Finds Edmondson, great pass there.
nice patience by Bat, waiting for Edmondson to open up.
Norimatsu to Ikezaki. He's got Ike going down court and indeed finds him. He's again taking his time, directing traffic while he has the offensive ball. Graham trying to not make his life easy there. One more to Ikizaki. Spinning and spinning again. They are managing the clock, and we saw this with Team Japan in their first game, is that they were able to kind of play a similar style and make sure they're managing the clock regardless of the score. So they're reasserting themselves in that aspect again, as Bat working his way down offensively, trying to get something for the Australians with just over 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Finds a wide route, and he's just going to take this one himself.
Yeah, well, the clock management by Team Japan on that last possession has put them in a situation where they can score last goal if they, or at least try to score last try, if they choose to, with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter here.
Ikizaki, Scott Hasegawa, and Norimatsu. Oh, that was a hard-looking fall there. I'm not sure it went down, but he went right on his shoulder, and you could see the grimace on his face from here.
It's the second time we've seen a play like that by Hasegawa, just moving up the court and catching one of the Australian players and causing them to come out of their chair.
That one did look like it hurt, though. We'll see, as they are checking on his shoulder a bit now. And he's discussing things with the medical trainer here. But you did see the grimace, so hopefully he is okay. And I'm sorry to say that I'm not sure who it is. Oh, it is Edmondson, who's done a great job in this game. So you can see him a little bit working out his shoulder there, a little tender. Oh, they are taking him off just to be a little cautious here. Probably a good idea, as Nicholson in for him.
Yeah, make sure he's okay. And, you know, if this game remains the score it is, Australia is going to have a very important game this afternoon, most likely. So want to make sure that Edmondson good to go for that.
As Ikizaki now with it, trying to be confronted by Ozan. Gets in the middle, now gets it back, and that's the second time we've seen that little give and go between Ike and Ikizaki there.
Yeah, well, nice job by Ike to get the ball back to Daisuke. Graham did have him tied up, so I'm not sure if he was going to be able to push across himself.
Whoa, that long lober almost hit the roof. And Japan really asserted themselves in that third quarter, establishing a 5-point gap. They also have the advantage in timeouts, having 3 left in their back pocket, players' ones at least. So after a strong push in the first quarter, at the end of it by Australia into the second quarter, and then a bit of a not so great ending for them, it kind of bled into the third quarter here, so we'll see what they have left.
Yeah, well, with a 5-goal lead, and as we saw, you know, perhaps Japan's ability to score with ease earlier on the game is starting to pay dividends now, as they're looking a little bit fresher than perhaps Team Australia is at this point. I think that perhaps Japan has gotten a little bit fortunate in the fact that that might have been an offensive spin on Hasegawa there, and the referees just weren't able to, either I missed it or they missed it, one of the two. We didn't see the replay, but that could have given the ball back to Australia, because that's 2 Australian players that came out while Japan was on offense, so something is going on there. So
yes, no, it was a rather terrific third quarter, and we're hoping for much of the same. Obviously, much more at stake, as you mentioned, for Team Australia, who might, as you mentioned, force this to become, if they can't change the result now, a bigger game later on, and then it all comes down to not only records, because there are a bunch of teams. It's Canada, Japan, and then kind of everyone else in this tournament. France is 0-3, but you've got a lot of teams 1 and 2, which could change, and then goals come into effect, which will all be settled by the end of today.
yeah, France is actually 0-4, so I think
Oh,
that
they
they
lost
are,
again. Okay.
Yeah, well, they've lost 4 games, so they are, I think, officially eliminated from the medal round. So they'll be playing, I don't want to say for pride, but they will be
Pride and experience.
Pride and experience in their match versus Denmark this afternoon.
And yours truly will be calling that game immediately following this one on court number 2. Starts at noon. But we're almost ready to get underway here.
I'm looking at a schedule that still has the USA on it, so forget that. Perhaps Denmark is not playing France this afternoon.
I think they still are, unless I'm totally mistaken. So we're ready to get underway here, as Voris Or is that, I can't tell. Yeah, it is Voris, so I couldn't tell if that was an 8 or 9. The peepers are a little not as good as they used to be these days.
Is this his first time on court this game?
Yes,
I don't
it
remember
is, I
seeing him
believe
out there
so.
before to right now.
I believe so. He's trying to work his way out of coverage. A short inbound there to Bat. Bat trying to work his way through. He's double teamed by Hashimoto and Ogawa. He's getting a countdown here, in a bit of trouble. Are they going to have to use their last player's timeout? 7 seconds. No, they won't. So
The look on his face before he scored that try made me think he was a little frustrated with his positioning, but able to get out of that double team and score the try.
It's good to have that amount of power and skill when you are frustrated. You can kind of bulldoze your way through certain aspects of the game. As Shimakawa back on the business end for Japan. Gets a nice pick from Hasegawa, allowing him to build up some speed and convert on that one. So it is Edmondson, none the worse for wear, back in the game after taking some contact and being taken out of the game late. Good to see. Bat wheeling his way through. Absorbs some contact as he gets rid of the ball. Edmondson scoops it up with his arm. Fields it down as he's double teamed. Drops one back to Bat. He's got some speed and space now. Hashimoto staying with him. The two 3.5s doing battle here. In comes Ogawa. Bat still with the ball on the offensive end. Getting the countdown is 12 seconds on the shot clock. Logs one ahead to Edmondson, who backs his way in. Now spins around and does convert.
Nice one-on-one defensive coverage there by Hasegawa versus Riley Bat, forcing him to make the pass. That's going to build his confidence, I would imagine, able to defend a player like that.
Ogawa off the inbound. One scoops a short one to Hashimoto. Fields it down. Stops going wide side. Now goes to the near side and wide side again as he gets a great pick from Voris, which actually helps out the Japanese there. And Shimakawa converts.
Nice job by Hashimoto to draw the defensive pressure and able to move the ball to Shimakawa for the try for Japan.
It's Voris on the inbound for Team Australia. Looks off Bat. Goes to Edmondson. And now to Bat. He wasn't quite ready for that. He tried to reach up with one hand. It goes off him, and that's a turnover. So I don't think he was expecting that either. And he reached up for it, and it bounced off him, as we see here. He originally looks off him, goes short, and then Edmondson tries to go to Bat, who wasn't really ready for it. Reaches up for it, but can't field it down, and that's a costly turnover, especially at the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Edmondson, I think, just put the ball in a spot that was a little bit difficult for Bat to reach. He's being helped off the court here.
Maybe it is.
Maybe that shoulder is bothering him a little bit.
Because you saw it right away when he hit the deck. You saw that grimace, and you can kind of know when, you see little things like that something may be wrong. Good for him for getting it out, but also never bad to be cautious with those sorts of things, as Shimakawa does so, shimmies his way through, and is able to find the conversion.
Hopefully he's okay. After I said you don't really hurt yourself that often falling out of your chair, he has gone out of his way to prove me wrong. So, but once again, best wishes for him.
I'd like to be wrong there, as I kind of mentioned how come it doesn't happen to the shoulders, and it does happen to him. So I kind of feel bad for that one. As Bat working the other way on the offense. Hashimoto staying with him, using his peripherals, but he's able to get a left picks on the wide side and just able to convert, as Ogawa was trying to stop him at the goal line but was unable to do so.
Yeah, penalty try for Team Australia there, as the defensive player was out of bounds before Bat crossed the try line.
Shimakawa looking to get through. Harrison does so. Bat staying with him, preventing a long pass. They're going to have a little bit of hard time getting over center. They do, and they're forced to use one of their timeouts, but they did have 3 in their back pocket. So again, we hammer down the fact that it is great to have these timeouts, especially late in games, to bail you out.
Nice job by Voris there to stop Hashimoto from being able to advance the ball over half, and good heads-up play by Hashimoto to use the timeout. They still got 2 more to go, so no need to panic at this stage of the game.
5:31 to go, fourth quarter. Japan up by 5, 45-40, which Adam did mention will set up a huge game for Australia, barring all other results, and things always kind of change, but it should be a big game for them later today. Japan off the inbound, it's Ogawa. Finds Ike with a one-hand inbound, as has happened so much in this game, to Ikizaki now. Gets by Bat, who reached in on him just over center. And a great lob pass to Ike, taking his time. And I always notice before Ike scores, he's always looking around at the defensive end every time, so it's kind of interesting to see. Voris off the inbound for Team Australia now. Short one into traffic and another lob over. Bat had to reach it in and protect it at the same time, but now he's forced out. As the Australians are starting to get frustrated, you can hear it from the bench, and that's another turnover. Japan on the business end, it's Ikizaki now. Bouncing, looking for options, going slowly wide. He gets one over there to Imai, who does take some contact before converting.
The air seems to have gone out of this game a little bit.
Certainly has. Certainly has. It's kind of those things in sports you just realize that you've got a few gut punches and it's so hard to fight back after a certain point.
Yeah, Australia's in a lot of trouble here. Have to use, I guess, a timeout to...
And now with Edmondson out of the game as well, he's been a great player, and he's, especially in this game I've noticed, had a lot of good picks for Bat, which allows him to do his thing on the offense, and Bat will come out. He's frustrated, but Warren goes in his place, as well as birthday boy Howe comes in for Voris. And Go in his first action in this one as well. So some substitutions by Australia. You mentioned the air had come out, and maybe the coaching staff as well realizes just with the number of mental mistakes we're seeing, kind of like in the first quarter. Harrison. Warren. Gao trying to give him some space here. Warren slowly out of the far side, not over center yet. Scoops it in and double coverage, and that's going to be another turnover as Ogawa picked that one off. Ike now wheeling his way away from Harrison. Looking down court, finds Ikizaki, who does score, so the substitutions didn't work. And Japan able to pick another one off. So as you mentioned, the air comes out of this game in the Australian spirit right now, it would seem. As Warren trying to work his way back. Ike not making his life easy. Now Imei to help him out. Those long arms are intimidating and forces him to just throw the ball away. So that's 2 consecutive turnovers by the Australians. And now Ikizaki has it back. So things going from bad to worse for the Australians here.
Yeah, well, this Australian lineup is just struggling to break past the pressure of the two Class 3s from Team Japan. And now that they're out of timeouts, they have no choice but to send that ball deep. And Japan is doing a good job of making sure there's nothing open down there either. So, you know, Australia is perhaps out of being able to win this game now, but they're going to have to find a way to build or at least solve this defensive pressure. And
3 turnovers in a row, and this isn't going well at all. You've got a timeout here and a justifiable time to take one.
I think Coach Orr is just using a bench timeout to get substitutions in here.
Oh, I thought it was the Australian coach's timeout. In any event, this hasn't gone well since the substitutions. 3 straight turnovers for Australia. As you meant, I was thinking to myself, it must be so intimidating having the ball and then not having any motion and having the big arms of Ike right in your face. Not an easy task. As Warren now trying to work his way out. Pump fakes one to the far side. Harrison's contacted quickly by Hashimoto, but able to field it down. Now he's trying to beat the heat. Throws one ahead to Go, who does field it down nicely. Seems like air went out of someone's tires. Eventually we may have an equipment timeout as it's a mad scramble for the ball that's rejected away, but Harrison recovers possession for Australia. Harrison now battling away the hungry Japanese, trying to turn the ball over. Does he have anywhere to go? A good back pass. Doesn't immediately connect with Warren, but he's able to scoop it up outside the key. What do we have here?
Yeah, well, Go has finally realized that he's got a flat tire. You mentioned that you could hear the air come out of it. Probably could have called that a little bit earlier, given how much difficulty and pressure his team was under. But if he didn't notice it was flat, guess you can't call it.
Yeah, it might be a little different in the battles than just from here. But Australia does have an inbound in the offensive side of things. Harrison, double coverage, a little dangerous, but Warren does a good job and able to palm it and field it down. Go reels it in, takes some hard contact from Shimakawa. Now we've got another whistle here. Is that just a shot clock?
Yeah, the try clock expired.
And it's a Japanese possession as Ogawa off the inbound defensively.
Yeah, Australia's going to have to find a way to transition offensively to get a favorable matchup so they can have some success with the ball.
Hashimoto wheels his way around. Warren gets over center. Now throws a nice one into space there.
It's a bit of a speed mismatch out there right now with players that are on the court for Japan.
Shimakawa able to convert there, and Harrison off the inbound as Go's trying to give him some space coming out. Gets it and gives it back. Harrison here. Wheeling around the wide side. Shimakawa making his life a little difficult. A good pick there from Hasegawa. Now it's rejected away. And Japan recovers the possession again. It's a good work by Shimakawa. Hashimoto picked it up and gave it back to him, and they converted on the offensive end.
Yeah, Team Japan is certainly starting to run away with this game, and we're going to see more substitutions here by Coach Orr.
And don't think that these points that Australia's giving up here don't matter, especially if it comes down to goal differential, right?
Well, I mean, it's true, and we'll have to see how the standings work their way out. But the first tiebreakers generally come down to plus minus against the teams that you're tied with. So there's no way that Australia is going to be tied with Japan by the end of this game. So the plus minus in this game will not play a factor unless it gets to some ridiculous fifth or sixth tiebreaker. We had a situation at our nationals a few weeks back where it looked like there was going to be a three-way tie, and I know that the first tiebreaker is plus minus for the three teams, and then if you're still tied at that point, the next tiebreaker is just total goals between the teams that are tied. So you're only looking at the teams that are tied, not the whole event.
A lot of asterisks, but I didn't even know. I just thought it was total goals in the tournament, so that's good for me to know, as well as Howe's set to inbound the ball for the Australians as they've made a few more substitutions here. Or no, they didn't. It was just a players or a team timeout. I thought they were going to maybe put a few guys back in, but they're just going to ride this lineup out. It would seem as Harrison has the ball.
Yeah, Japan has made some substitutions. We have Matoki out here now, and number 8, Kabatani.
Kabatani has been used sparingly in a few shifts, but not for a long period of time. He has the ball now. Is Kabatani looking, or no, excuse me, I can't see the number there down court. Oh, sorry, that's Sugano. Now to Kabatani. Up and out of his arm. Go couldn't pick it off, though, so got a little bit fortunate, did Kabatani. It's rejected away again, but Hashimoto scoops it out. They need to get over center quickly. They make a good pass there, and Kabatani fields it down before ultimately converting.
Yeah, a bit of a fortunate bounce there for Team Japan to maintain possession. I'm sure that these two guys who have been on the bench most of the game are just take a couple of possessions to get back into it.
And it's now Australia. Howe from his own end. Short pass to Harrison, in a little bit of trouble being locked up defensively. Double coverage, gets it over to Go. Does a good job of reeling it in amongst the contact. Gets triple team now. He's going to need some help as he's got hands all around him.
Nice discipline by the Japanese defensive players there to get their hands straight up and realize that Australia wasn't going anywhere and not take a reaching foul, which can happen quite often. Bail players out when the counts are getting low.
Especially easier to know at this stage of the game when you've got such a lead. It's a little easier not to reach in and be disciplined for sure. As Kabatane gets it into Sugano. And Australia will inbound again as Howe goes back for it. 2:13 to go in the fourth and final quarter. 54-40 for Japan as they've really exploded in the second half of this game in third and fourth quarters. Jaden Warren working his way around Sugano, fights his way off. Now throws one into space to Harrison, who has to reach back to field it in. And it is a turnover.
Nice job by Kabatani there, just to make contact with Harrison as he was about to catch the ball.
So it is a turnover, and Sugano throws one down court to Kabatani. A slow bouncer. Warren has the speed, but it doesn't matter as Kabatani's able to convert, so he's made a few nice plays here despite coming into the game extremely late.
Yeah, making an impact on defense and then turning around to making an impact on offense. Good for him.
So Japan will improve to 4-0 after this one, with the best goal differential being increased on. They had a +4 advantage coming in against Canada, who was also 3-0. A little bit of confusion between the refs here, thinking that Australia had another timeout. They don't, so they're unable to make the substitutions that they wanted. And now they're double checking just to make sure things are accurate. I thought they had one more too, so.
Well, I'm not tracking them. So
no,
referee says these use 2.
It's not going to work. As here we go, it's Howe. Short pass to Warren in double coverage, fields it down. Spinning wide and getting some speed. It looks like he's going to get center here. Now he's got a 2-on-1 with Harrison. Oh, and Harrison comes in on his man hard. That's Sugano who goes down. He cut right in the middle as Sugano was moving forward.
Yeah, Harrison is able to catch Sugano with a big hit in the front of the chair. You know, one of the rules in wheelchair rugby is you are allowed to hit anybody at any time as long as it's not dangerous and the referee has made the ball live. So you always have to keep your head up regardless of whether you're on offense or defense.
And a really heavy play by Harrison there. And now Australia will get to make its substitution as Graham into the game now, 1:47 to go. And she will inbound the ball. Gets it to Harrison. Pump fakes, bounces the ball. Looking deep, and that was a great pass there to Warren, who converts. And now Sugano will inbound the ball for Team Japan, 1:39 to go. Australia coach urging his players to communicate on the court near. Here's Hashimoto working his way out, double team, but makes a nice pass to Sugano. He's only got one man to contend with on the defense. That's Harrison, who lobs it over to Kapatanai, and he is able to convert. So I think that's his 4th point since coming in a couple minutes ago.
Good counting by you. I'm certainly not paying attention to that, but nice job by Team Japan to advance the ball and score the try.
Harrison gets it over to the middle and through traffic to Howe, the birthday boy. A little bit of a weird pass there, but Jaden Warren was coming the right way and able to field it down. A nice reach there back by Harrison, using his peripherals and his angles of his body to reach back for that one, and scoring with 1:12 to go in the 4th quarter, 56-42 for Team Japan. Only a couple possessions left to Sugano to Kabatanai.
I think that Howe's had a great tournament for Team Australia. I was hoping that he was going to put the ball on his lap and see if he could wheel it in from there, but obviously chose to make the pass to Warren instead.
Hashimoto using the pick, using some time. Every second counts, and he does convert there. 54.0 to go. 15-point lead for Team Japan. Harrison fields it down in a little bit of trouble, getting away from Sugano. Long lobber in the middle, that's a risky one, and indeed it is picked off by Kabatanai, who gets it to Sugano. Bouncing the ball, fielding it down, just taking his time, gets it to Kabatanai. Graham's on him, but at this point they're just content to eat the clock. Warren making his life a little miserable with a hard hit there. Sugano. Hashimoto. Delaying and delaying. 15 to go now. Finds him in a lane, getting a countdown, and he will convert. Not quite yet. Using every second. There's 9.4 to go. So on the last possession for the Australians here, they're going to try to work their way up the court quickly. They've got to do it fast here. Harrison just over center now, and it doesn't look like they're going to have it. They try, and it is picked off, but it's not going to matter. So a pretty impressive effort, even though Australia did show some resistance in the latter half of the 1st quarter all the way through to the 2nd. But ultimately, Japan's leaning on them was too much for the Australians to handle. And the most dominant team, I think you've got to say, I haven't seen all Canada's games, but this is the second Japan one. They are pretty dominant. And we're looking for a pretty big two-headed monster. Barring what happens with Canada, they may meet in the finals.
Yeah, well, this was a really good game for the first 3 quarters. Obviously got away from Australia a bit there towards the end of the game, and the speed and depth of this Japanese squad, just a little bit too much for the Australians to handle, as you pointed out. Japan has looked pretty dominant in their game so far, so just makes me look forward to the Canadian-Japanese matchup that we're going to see at the end of the day today.
Yes, and it will be quite entertaining, and we thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast, and as you have through the entirety of the broadcast, as the standings will come clear by the end of today. For Colin Anderson and Adam Frost, we're saying good morning, good afternoon, and good night tonight. We'll see you again soon.